Here are 3 important recommendations that will help you attract more players and make your game stand out. Fill out the game draft completely. Pay special attention to the promo materials section. To get more players, adapt your game for all available platforms. Add other languages to your game. For now, let's dig into Yandex advertising support. There are blocks on the Yandex Games main page that are more vivid and attract more traffic. They're the New Games, Recommended Games, and Popular Games blocks. All games show up in the New Games after they're launched on the platform and stay there for 2 weeks. The Recommended Games and Popular Games blocks contain games routed there by the algorithm that evaluates game metrics. Quality games generally rise higher in the catalog and attract more traffic. Yandex is constantly working to improve its automated recommendation system. To make it easier to get into these blocks, we developed a feature meter, which is a tool in your developer console that shows how completely your game draft is filled out. If the meter is low, it gives you suggestions on what information is missing. Check it out by clicking the question mark. The feature meter is the same for the whole game but separate for each of your languages. Filling out all the fields in your game draft, even the ones that aren't required, will affect how much traffic your game will be able to attract in that language. How else does Yandex promote developers' games? All new games go into the Yandex ad feed and enjoy free traffic from Yandex services and the Yandex advertising network. The ad feed doesn't disappear until you delete the game. Keep in mind that if your game has poor indicators, the algorithms will suppress it and give it less traffic. Yandex Games holds promotions regularly, for example, reducing advertising costs by 50%. Now let's talk about how you can promote your game yourself, the creative content that works and the platforms that are best for advertising. There are 2 main ad formats, banner and video. For banners, all you need is images in 1:1 format 1080 by 1080 pixels. Use vivid, brightly colored gameplay stills and screenshots for your ad to stand out against the background of wherever it's being displayed. Let's look at some examples of game banners. 3 formats work for video: 16 by 9920 by 1080 pixels, 9 by 16 1080 by 1920 pixels, 1:1080 by 1080 pixels. An animation of a finger or hand doing something within the gameplay works well. Another thing that works well is images of people playing, having a good time, and showing the emotions your game elicits. For video, there are several options of plots and calls to action. The Yandex Games promotion team tested 10 creative scenarios for the top 100 games. And there are some scenarios that work especially well and result in a CTR that is twice the average. This is gameplay plus hand animation. The Noob Pro comparison also works well. To better understand the behavior of your audience, add a Yandex Metrica counter to your game. Yandex Metrica is a free tool for evaluating your traffic and analyzing user behavior in online resources. Using this tool, you can monitor the game's traffic, track the results of product experiments, and analyze user flow. For example, you can set goals for buttons and actions in your games and analyze how many players study the rules, how many reach a certain level in the game, and how frequently they go visit the in-game store. Check the description of this video for a link to an article on how to start using Yandex Metrica. Here are a few suggestions for targeting. Don't use tight geographic targeting, going beyond advertising your game in just one city. Make sure to set up Yandex Metrica and configure targets for it. Analyze how your audience behaves based on Yandex Metrica reports and hone your targeting. For example, if you see that women play less than men, emphasize your male audience. Targeting based on sex and age also depends on who your target audience is and who the game is meant for. Solitaire and intellectual games are more popular with the older demographic, while games with cartoon characters are mostly played by children.